Callahan Cronin. I'm 23 years old, and I work at DBA Worldwide as the community engagement manager. As community engagement, essentially what we do is we take online content that we create, so in our case it's widgets, and deal with bloggers and people who have websites and basically get them to host our widgets, which is advertising. A day at the office, well, working in the tech space, it's pretty convenient because we can basically usually roll up around 9 day. You got to check your emails. We do a lot of email engagement with bloggers, so it's like every day I'll come to the office, I'll have like 20, 25 emails. So usually, toss on the headphones, pump some jams, and just take care of those. The cool thing about working in like the social media kind of sphere is that it's relatively a new thing. Probably only in like the last 5 or 6 years, the shift has been, heavily on content, and it's more valuable to create something, an advertisement that people are going to want to share with their friends. So from a social media standpoint, it's, for us, you have to be involved in that world, and it's exciting because it's when we're sitting around having creative meetings, we're really trying to figure out what's going to stick with people. If I have a message that I put out on Twitter and then it gets retweeted by 50 people, not only does that hit whatever my 1,500 followers, but it also hits the followers of all those other people, and basically I think the process comes in because you need to think non-traditional. You need to think about, okay, how can we provide something that people already want and put it in a framework that's going to help promote the brand that we're working with. And especially social media right now, you can put out an advertisement and find out in 2 days if people are receiving it well or not. So it's really like a unique way to kind of, look at the trending stuff on Twitter. You immediately know that if something's trending on Twitter, that means that there's probably 1 million people who are talking about it, or 500,000 people, So if you put out something and it's that social media, as much as I feel like it's becoming a situation where everyone knows that that's the way to go, it's got to be part of your marketing mix regardless. But I know heavy emphasis on it. It's the easiest, cheapest way to continue promoting your product and to learn a lot about your customer base, whether you're a big or a small company. The other thing too is especially now with smartphones and everything else, it's awesome to have kind of a world at your fingertips where you could be sitting at a bus station waiting for a bus, and something funny happens, or you get a funny thought and you can put it on the internet and immediately have that connection with someone who comments on it, and it builds that. It's a weird world we live in where, anything you look at when Osama bin Laden was killed, and all those kind of major groundbreaking news events of the last year, and chances are it broke out on Twitter first, or Facebook, so yeah, social media, in terms of allowing everybody to be somebody, allowing people to have that voice and allowing people to build that, it's unique. There was a time 20 years ago where unless you worked for a newspaper or film or radio or TV, in one of those media outlets, chances are your voice wasn't really going to get heard. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes in the next 5 years. And, it's cool that we, between our smartphones and our laptops, we're able to you can log on and search social media and pretty much get news that came out today, 6 hours ago, and know where everything's going to be today. And I guess that's how you'd predict the future. But, it'll be a fun ride anyway.